because I'm traveling and I'm also spritzing their wig. I just got off of a little bit of a run, and so I'm sweating bullets. When's the last time you went out for a nice 3-mile run in 90-degree heat?
If you check me out on my social media, JWiggs85, I was at the gym yesterday working out, running, getting back into it.
Attaboy. Okay.
Not 3 miles, but I do more of the sprints, interval type running.
The interval training's much better. Believe me, I do more interval than the jogging. But people aren't here to listen, prattle on about that. They're here to talk some sports. So for the next 30 minutes, we got you covered. Whatever you want in the world of sports. You want to join us, hit the fan line in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and you can join us and talk to us like it's a talk radio show, except we get to see your pretty face. We mostly Patriots, but you can call us whatever you want. We are once again sponsored by Original Grain. Go to originalgrain.com. They have these great watches that are refurbished from old stadiums. Wiggy's wearing the 1946 special edition, the '06 limited edition watch that's sold out. You can pre-order yours again at originalgrain.com. Let's just get into it right now, Wig, and let me ask you, just generally speaking, how do you feel about your football team, man?
How do I feel? I'm a little concerned with
boy. All right. I'm sorry to jump in, but I'm glad to hear you say that.
I'm concerned with the wide receiver position. I am not concerned at all whatsoever with Tom Brady, but I am concerned with the wide receiver position because I want to see these guys make plays. Now, I'm gonna kind of hold off a little bit and say, was it them or Hoyer in the first preseason game? Now, tonight, if they're not on the same page with Brady, I know there's been some drop balls out in training camp. That's the biggest thing that it has my concern right now with some of those wide receivers. Not really Julian Edelman, and maybe a little bit with Chris Hogan because he's going to have to take a bigger role in the first 4 weeks of the season. But some of these other guys that you're going to ask to play a little bit.
Well, apparently it's looked really bad at camp. I don't know if you've gotten out there, but just from everyone who's been out there, it's been bad. And Brady's partly responsible now because it wasn't like he was here in the spring working with these guys. So it's not like they,
see, before you go, there's been a lot of drops, though. There's been a lot I've read some reports and articles, a lot of drops. So if Brady's putting it right on the money, it ain't got nothing to do with him not being there. It's about them catching the ball. Now, that to me is the issue. Now, if it's a timing thing where, they're coming out of their breaks late or early, then we got issues as far as Brady not being there in the OTAs.
Okay, from what I understand, it's been everything. But either way, it's not like they were ahead of the game coming into camp, but it's really about personnel. I mean, I agree with you. When you look at, holy crap. Have you ever heard of Paul Turner? Who's Paul Turner? Devin Lucien, Philip Dorsett, who I think stinks, and he got hurt the other day. Cordell Patterson, I'm sorry, Wig. From what I understand, Brady hasn't thrown him a pass since the second day of camp. Eric Decker apparently has been a basket case. So even guys that you've heard of are just not there. And so, just look it up. When they leave Brady high and dry at the receiver position, he's great. He does the most with it that he can possibly do, but they don't go. They don't go all the way. They didn't go all the way in '06. They didn't go all the way in 13. And that, this is what this group is shaping up to look like, those teams.
But I think that you're going to have – I think what you're going to have is you're going to have a couple – it's all going to be based on Julian's health, right? When he comes back, how is he? What type of player is Julian Edelman going to be? Because now if he's not the same player, now Brady – his binkies are if the people he's going to rely on the most are going to be Gronkowski and some of those running backs. But if Edelman can come back and maybe, give you maybe not what we've seen in the past because obviously he's going to take a step back. But if he's there, if he's dependable, if he's durable, can catch the football. And then I think with Chris Hogan, I think we know what we're getting out of him. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, we know what we're getting out of him. You'll be able to put him in the mix. He's not going to be maybe the guy that, all of a sudden now has because you're bumped up into this role, you're going to catch a ton more balls. No, but I think you'll have those two. And Philip Dorsett, I think, is the wild card because we've seen him a little bit last year, and he is the player that I think is going to have more to carry.
Okay, let me just do this real quick because I don't know if it's distracting you, but it's distracting me. That's not my picture. That's Sarah's picture, and I was kind of like, man, what you got going on? They get you some nice stuff. I don't need that representing me. Let me ask you this there, Wig. Dwayne Allen is still on this team making $5 million. Give me your assessment of Dwayne Allen at $5 million, please.
Man, I tell you, if I could just lose a few more pounds, I might be able to get back up.
I need more than a few, but just tell me, what does this guy do?
I think he run blocks. That's kind of really
For $5 million.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's it. Listen, that's the NFL, how it is. You know what I mean? That's the thing. He's a run blocker, but from what I hear he's had a pretty decent camp. The guy that I've read a lot about and kind of was down there and seen and saw him make a few plays, and Brady's kind of throwing the football is Hollister more than anything. And now I'm not saying he's gonna be this huge weapon for the team. But if you don't have the weapons at the wide receiver position, or if you only have a few of them, you got to try to get guys from other places, other positions to make plays for you.
Okay.
Now,
so that's what Rockman, the boss man, says in our comments lines about these other guys or the tight end playing a bigger role. How about Will Tye? Do you see anything in him?
I mean, he's the guy. He's the kid from the Giants, right?
Yeah.
We've seen him in the past. You'll get a better understanding if Brady plays tonight. You know what I mean? Because then you'll kind of get to understand who are the guys out there with him. What players are out there with Brady, and what players is he looking to throw the football with? What players is he given an opportunity to make plays for him? So, could Ty be one of those guys? I don't know. Is he on the field with him? I highly doubt it. He seems like he's more of the fourth guy right now with Hollister and, like I said, Dwayne Allen. But those guys are going to be called upon to make plays. All Dwayne Allen got to do is catch the football and get upfield and get 3-4 yards. That's it.
All right, let me bring in our first guest, Kevin Duffy. He covers the Patriots for the Boston Herald, my former employer for 19 years. Kevin Duffy will join us again on the fan line, which you can do in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. You get screened by a producer, and then we put you on like we do Kevin. Kevin, thanks for taking the time. I'm going to ask both you and Wiggy a question, and Kevin, I want you to start first.
Sure.
Do I have a right to be disappointed with the way the defense looked in game one? I understand preseason, but I have reason to believe that unit's going to be better this year, that they should be better this year, and it looked like the same old crap for the first week. How should I assess that?
I don't put much stock into it because, as you know, they're not really scheming at all on defense. That was really basic zone coverage, I think, that they were playing on that first drive. Gilmore gave up that – there were a few plays where Gilmore I just thought was – not as aggressive as he could have been. But overall, I think that should be a better unit. The front seven definitely should be better. Last year, they gave up 4.7 yards a carry. It was the worst run defense in the Bill Belichick era. I think with Hightower back, as long as he stays healthy, I'm not super concerned about how the defense looked in the first quarter against the Redskins.
Wig, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree because in football, especially in the preseason, the defense is always a little bit slower to catch up. You know what I mean? Because you don't really scheme a lot in preseason. You kind of play, basic and vanilla coverages. You're not trying to do too much as far as blitzing. Where offensively, you can get creative a little bit, nothing outrageous. And the speed of, as far as the understanding of the offense, it's always a little bit more further up to speed than the defenses. Now, I don't want to see them continue, especially the first unit. I don't want to see them continue to go out there and just basically go, get driven on every time they go. I need to see some stops, some plays, some breakups, that kind of thing.
How about the coaching situation, Kevin? Josh in the comments says, do we know that they can make adjustments as they did under Matt Patricia? What do you see from Flores? And, to me, that feels like there's going to be an adjustment there. I don't know how they're better right out of the chute.
Yeah, it was interesting. A lot of the players talked, they're always going to speak positively, but they were talking about Flores versus what they had experienced the previous 5 years. And they made it seem like it's a lot easier for new guys to pick up under Flores than it was under Patricia. They didn't mention Patricia by name, but I don't know if you were familiar with the comments. It was Dante Hightower specifically early in training camp that kind of raised my eyebrows a little bit because it was, I don't want to say they were trashing Matt Patricia, but they were really making it seem like this year is going to be a lot better and there might not be those hiccups. The fact is with the defense though, look, they stunk in the Super Bowl. They stunk against the Chiefs, but in between they really weren't that bad. They're the only team in the NFL over the past 4 years to hold opponents below 20 points per game in each of those seasons. So I think they'll be fine. They'll probably be right in that 18, 19 points per game range as they were in the previous 4 years.
All right, Kevin, in a vacuum, don't listen to Wiggy and don't, factor in the receivers. Just in a vacuum, give me a grade for Tom Brady this training camp. How has he looked?
He's looked fine, I guess.
C plus. You're saying C.
Yeah, no, but you can't. It's hard. It's hard not to factor in the look. I mean, his weapons are an issue. I thought we all knew there was going to be some trouble at wide receiver. They weren't as talented at that position. To me, the concern is Sony Michel's injured right now. We don't really know how severe that is. Rex Burkhead hasn't played. I thought that their offense might take a shift, kind of how the Saints did last year, where the yardage came down for Breeze and they relied much more on the running backs, and Kamara and Ingram really were the catalyst for that offense. I thought that we might see the Patriots shift in that kind of direction this year. And if Michel's ready to play and he's able to contribute in September, October, then that might happen. But right now, they don't have –
I ask you now, Brady, and you tell me about the rookie running back. I'm asking about Brady. There's a lot of people he looked rusty.
Brady looks fine. He looks fine. He looks – I wouldn't say he's rusty. Wiggins said it early. They've had a lot of drops. I don't think watching him, nothing jumps out to you where you're like, wow, this guy's really taken a step back. He's starting to decline. That might be apparent when we see the games, but in training camp practices, I can't watch it and say that he doesn't look like he's always.
He looked heavy on the beach. Wiggy's got a bad back. I don't know. Feels like
Felger wants you to say he looks rusty, so he can instantly go back to go. That's what happens when you don't show up to the offseason. You look rusty. He don't factor in the fact that Brady's dropping dimes and guys are dropping them. That's what Felger wants you to do. So his argument, he can support his argument of Tom Brady not showing up. So if you say he looks fine and that's like a B plus, he's like, whoa, wait a second. Now
that doesn't do anything to me.
He looks fine, but would he have been better served to be there in the spring and work with some of those new guys? Yeah, of course, because that's part of playing quarterback. He's got a lot of receivers that he doesn't have much experience with, and even to this point, we haven't seen him work much with Cordell Patterson. Kenny Britt hasn't been practicing. So a lot of these guys who he's probably going to be throwing to in the regular season, he doesn't have many reps with. So, yeah, that's a concern. But if you're looking at Brady in a vacuum, he looks okay to me.
But those guys might not even be there. Let's be honest. So even if he showed up for OTAs, you're talking about guys that still in Kenny Britt and Patterson, guys that might not even be there come week 1 of the regular season.
Yeah, maybe, but that raises the question of who the hell is he going to be throwing to? He spent some time working with the Dorsets and Eric Decker, and Decker to me has been pretty slow to catch on. So the point is, he would have been, whether they're there or not, it would have been beneficial for him to have some foundation with those guys heading into the summer.
All right, Kevin, thanks so much for taking the time. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Okay, folks, again, if you want to join us, you can do it by hitting the fan line there. Right now, I want to ask you about Jalen Ramsey and his interview on GQ. Did you see that?
I heard about it. I love it. I love what he's keeping it real, because that's how players do. It's just, he's the type of dude that he's willing to, he's willing to put it out there for everybody to read or hear or see. I love players like that, confident, cocky, not afraid to get his take.
Okay, so but square that with me, because Bill Belichick hates those kind of players.
Right.
And wouldn't stand for that on his team. Right. So what do you really want? I mean, really, what do you want?
I love players like that, but they're not going to work on a Bill Belichick team. Now, it works out fine because he's down in Jacksonville and Doug Marrone is the head coach down there, and that works out good for him. Now, if he's on a Bill Belichick team, he's got to probably take a different approach. He can't, come that way because it doesn't work that way. I mean, I like the fact of him being confident and cocky, but, I would love to have him on the Pats, but he would just have to kind of change how he does business as far as, when it comes to interviews and that kind of thing. But I ain't got no problem with what he said. I agree with it on most parts. I think Matt Ryan is overrated. Your boy Aaron Rodgers, overrated is what I would have said.
Who's the second best quarterback in the league, in your opinion?
The second best quarterback in the league, in my opinion, Drew Brees.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I think Rodgers is a far superior player to Drew.
Rodgers is overrated. Drew Brees has done has done more, with less talent than Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, you're wrong about that. And also look at Drew Brees when he's outside. Look at they have it on Pro Football Reference. Look at his split. When he plays outside versus the dome.
I mean, I can understand he's a different quarterback, but I still think that when you look at the two, I'm not taking nothing away from Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a very good quarterback.
You don't think he's the second best?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, Ramsey said that he would take Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson before Brady and Rodgers. How do you feel about that?
Now, that one, I think he's reaching on that one. Now, I'm like, brother, you got to – I feel you on certain things, but I got to reel you in a little bit now. I like Watson, but Wilson, he's another one I feel like that when you look at a quarterback like a Breeze, and I'll throw Rodgers in there, a Brady, guys that could put the team on their back consistently and win football games when maybe everything else is falling apart around them. Like, say, defensively. When you look at Russell Wilson, he's had a good defense running game. You didn't really give that to him much last year, and now he's a different quarterback. You look at those other guys. I mean, I don't know about Deshaun Watson because he's still young, but he looked like he has potential. But when you think about Breeze, Brady, and Rodgers to a certain extent, even if they don't have defense, if they don't have a running game, they're able to still go out there and put their teams in a position where they're contending for a Super Bowl.
He's got Ben Roethlisberger, decent at best.
I would say Ben Roethlisberger is okay. I think
that. Come on.
I'm waiting to see, but when I'm trying to compare him to like the Brady's.
Oh, you can't. I mean, don't compare. So that I think that's where people get into trouble. It's like, I mean, just because Aaron Rodgers isn't Tom Brady doesn't mean he sucks, and just because Ben Roethlisberger isn't Tom Brady doesn't mean he sucks. You gotta compare him to the rest.
Ben Roethlisberger is a good quarterback. He's an okay quarterback, but I also think that he's benefited from very good defenses, very good running game. When you look at him, he's the type of quarterback that I think makes more plays in the postseason than he does in the regular season. You know what I mean? Sure. He's kind of one of those players that in the postseason he's really good. But I think he's a good quarterback. But I would say that when you talk about some of those quarterbacks he has on his list, I think Ben Roethlisberger has definitely been able to take advantage of some of the things around him.
Okay, let's wrap this up with 5 questions with Wiggy. If you want to ask Wiggy anything, again, the fan line in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, we can ask it live via your smartphone. Doesn't matter what it is. You want to fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck? Like that was the favorite. But anything like that, is this the stupider the question, the better the answer. All right, here we go. Number 5, Wiggy. Brady was trying out a new helmet last week. He's one of the last. He and Breeze, in fact, I think are the last to wear that old helmet that you cannot wear anymore. It's grandfathered in and has no concussion protection in it whatsoever, where the new ones do. When you played, was there an equipment change that bothered you more than any other, where you had to switch equipment, do anything, wear something different that just totally messed with your head?
No, there was no real rules. The only thing that I did on my own is I wore as little as possible. No, see, I would have a hard time playing today because they got to wear them thigh pads and the knee pads. I wore none of that stuff because I wasn't very fast, and so the more stuff I had on felt like it weighed me down.
So I was going to ask you, they have to wear the knee pads and the thigh pads now?
Yeah, I think that's the rule now. I think that's a rule. You have to wear it, or I think you get fined. So I would be getting fined every week because there's no way I'm wearing it.
You never wore knee pads?
Never wore knee pads or thigh pads.
Wow. Okay. Number 4, the Kyrie Irving to the Knicks rumors, they just continue. They won't, like, every week. There's another story about him going back to New York or pairing up with Jimmy Butler. How do you feel about Kyrie Irving? Are you beginning to worry about, what his motivation is, what his priorities are as an athlete?
No, I'm not, because he told us exactly what he was going to do. He said he wasn't going to do anything until next summer. Now, a lot of these reports and rumors are coming from wherever.
His agent.
And now, if he happens to go to New York, then I'm going to question him as a player, because for me, I always look at it like this. When you're that talented, and I understand him not wanting to play with LeBron, because every basketball player wants to be the alpha dog, wants to be the man on their team. That's why, a little insight for you, that's why the Kevin Durant, Steph Curry thing has only got about another year before that thing blows up. With Kyrie Irving, he's the alpha dog. This is his team, the Boston Celtics. Him going to the Knicks makes no sense to me. He'll still be the alpha dog, but he's going to a shittier team.
Okay.
Stay with Boston where you can get to the finals.
So, look, I mean, if it's about winning, why do you ever leave Cleveland? If it's about a good basketball environment, why would he ever consider leaving here? Does he just want to be a movie star? Does he want to be the man? Does he want to be, it's his team? Like that sort of stuff.
It's if basketball players, the first things first, it's about, when I'm talking about that elite level, it's about being the best player on your team and being the alpha dog. When you play with LeBron, or when LeBron comes to Cleveland, guess what? Kyrie's no longer the alpha dog. It's no longer his team. But right where he is now, that's why he wanted out of Cleveland. Right,
I know, but that's lame. Like, I mean, who gives a shit whether you're considered the 1 or the 2 or whatever? I mean, like, I just think that's.
That's, you know why? Because you play like Billy Ho, and these other guys play like, I forget what Wesley Snipes' character's name is, A White Man Can't Jump. Yeah. They want to be the man, I want to be the man. I don't want to have to take a backseat to some other superstar coming. This is my team.
Freaking NBA, I'm telling you. All right, question number 3. What do we got for question number 3? Give me 1 second here. Question number 3 is, speaking of the Kyrie Irving and the showbiz and the movie stuff, what former athlete do you envy the most in terms of his post-playing career? Show business, TV, music, whatever. What former athlete would you have liked to have been in terms of post-show career, post-career, post-playing career?
I would go with the one guy I think, and granted, I think he only had a cup of coffee at the NFL level, but would be Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I think he's parlayed. He went into wrestling, but he played football. To me, he's that guy who's made that next jump. I think the current guy who's going to be that, and that's why I think he went west, is LeBron James. Now, for me, it's not about winning for him. He went west to do that Hollywood thing.
Okay. To me, the guy that impresses me the most, if you care, is Michael Strahan, because –
yeah, but he had a TV show that was trash.
What was the trash TV show?
Brothers and I, somewhere where he was a brother. It was like, he had a TV show. Look it up, man. That shit was garbage.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about he went right from the playing field to Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, and now the Today Show. Those are 3 and 4 hour talk shows. So a lot of you former athletes, put you in a booth, you can talk football for a couple minutes. Put you on a sports show, you can do a couple of sports segments. Go do a news show, a news variety show for 3-4 hours a day, and Strahan can carry it. Strahan is easily, in my mind, the sharpest and the most talented former athlete in media today.
Hey, kind of like I do every morning on Hot 96.9.
You play music. You play music for 14-year-old girls. You're not doing 4 hours.
Listen, we talk about everything. We talk all that stuff Strahan's talking about. Listen to our show. We've been talked about it.
What station are you on again?
Hot 96.9, baby, every morning. We talk about it all.
Okay, time for the Wiggy word on the street. He sends me a text page. I try and translate it. This one's easy. I can do it. It says,
go ahead.
Yo, I can't wait till they clap back on all the Fugaz as F-U-G-A-Z, the new word A-Z-Z, hating F-boys. It's something to do with the Patriots playing well and shutting up all of us Fugazi ass hating F-boys.
That's right. You, damn Stephen A. Smith, damn your boy Rod Park, all those idiots that do those shows and how the Patriots are done and this is it. They're gonna go 8-8. They're gonna suck this year. I cannot wait until the season starts and they start clapping these teams. So then all you fake ass fuck boys, we could be like, shut your ass up.
Okay, I'm not a fake ass fuck boy. I'm a legit F boy. Okay, Matt Newton has the.
That's not a good thing.
Matt Newton. Oh, okay, then maybe I'm a fake. Whatever. I don't even know exactly what it means, but I can guess. Matt in Newton is going to join us for the fan question on line 5. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey guys, how's it going? So, in honor of Aretha Franklin, who would you guys say is the Aretha Franklin of Boston sports?
Who gets the least respect? In other words, right, Matt?
I mean, I was sort of going from who's like a baller, doesn't really care about their image, just does what they need to do, takes care of business.
Okay, thank you for the question. Answer that however you want there, Wig.
Who's like a baller, doesn't really care, take care of business in all of Boston sports? I'm gonna go with Tangway. Gary Tate seems like he don't care.
I hope he doesn't give a crap, because if he really cares about what he's putting out there, then we got some real issues.
That's what he said. He's been doing it forever. I mean, Jesus. I mean, he's still on TV. So, I mean, I guess you really got to be that good. You just don't give a damn.
A player who, he doesn't play here anymore. I don't know why he just came to mind. Like Aqib Talib. Aqib Talib just goes out and does his thing and is who he is, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care. And so right. I think he was – I don't know if that's exactly what Matt had in mind, but that's our answer. Let's bring in one more bonus caller. Matt in Framingham of Felger and Maz fame. He does some internship work for us as well. I don't know if he's got a question for Wiggy or just a straight sports question, but we don't want to leave him hanging. So, Matt, he also owns the most authentic Boston accent here on the program. Matt, what do we got?
Hey, how you doing? Well, speaking of alpha dogs,
So what I also like about Matt is he calls us while he's driving.
Right. Nothing wrong with that.
No,
Just maybe in the car, but just me. So you were dead on that bet. You were right. The Patriots came in there without their practices, without being ready, without being Brady. They blew their doors off, and then the second half was a different question. Now this week, I think it's going to be the opposite. I think that the Patriots don't have much to gain besides their pride, but a lot to lose. If Philly and Foles comes out there and picks them apart again, and if Brady doesn't show up and he doesn't look with that back, and I think he's going to use his running backs, not just now, but throughout the season. I think the running backs are going to be a big part of our offense. But go ahead.
Okay, Matt, thanks for calling in. We're going to drop you because we launched the video. But anyway, he's talking about betting tonight, Wiggy, because like an idiot, I bet last week.
And I heard you bet. Hey, I heard you bet some buku bucks. Now,
yeah, do you think
I don't believe it.
Thank you.
Because I know diehard gamblers, and diehard gamblers, you betting that type of money, you betting all the time, and that's not who you are.
Thank you, exactly. But whatever I did bet, I need to get it back. Do you think the Patriots care about this game, about playing well against the Eagles because of what happened last year, or shutting up Lane? I mean, do you think there's any sort of extra juice on tonight's game, and who would that favor?
No, there's no extra juice. Not about what happened last year. I think they care about playing well because of where they are in training camp, how things have kind of started off slow, how they struggled defensively, offensively, trying to get on the same page. The thing about the Patriots, I'm going to be dead ass honest, they ain't thinking about no preseason game and what happened last year, getting revenge. A lot of those guys ain't even going to be out there. I mean, so, a lot of the guys that played in the Super Bowl for both teams might not even be out. They're only going to play a series or two. So they ain't looking at it like that. They just more concerned about taking care of business because, the so far training camp that's been up and down.
Okay, that'll put a wrapper on it. Again, originalgrain.com for some great souvenir watches. That limited edition Red Sox watch is being made, so you can pre-order. Originalgrain.com brings you Jabroni Talk. We are out this week. Wiggy, we'll do Wednesday again next week. All right, bud?
You got it, brother.
See you then.